Hey, in here early. Hey girl, how are you? I am feeling great. Y'all, hey Jazz. Y'all, I started a YouTube channel. Well, I'm starting one today. I post my first video at like 4 o'clock. I am low-key kind of nervous because it's something new. I've never had a YouTube channel before, but I've always wanted one. Hey. I've never had a YouTube channel before, but I've always wanted one. So it's like, just gotta do it, right? Just a little bit nervous. Yes ma'am, you see them. Purr. I love this color too. I can't remember the last time I got this color. Usually I just go black or brown. But we got them red, kind of burgundy actually today. Hey, let me... Yes, ma'am. Hey!
Hey, what is good?
Good. How are you?
Good. I love the braids. Beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
braids. That's my color. When I used to dye my hair, it was always red. So
Yeah, I love red. Thank you. Hey, everyone. Thank you all for joining. This is going to be KK Natural Treasure Talks Episode 9, where me and a natural hair influencer go live and talk all things natural hair. And today, our special guest is Napptural Beginnings. Tell us a fun fact about you and introduce yourself.
fun fact about me. I started out doing braiding, actually. I was a braider for many, many years. That was my side hustle in college. Maybe when I was around 20, 21. And I kind of continued with that, in addition to whatever, corporate job I was working. So for close to 20 years, I've been braiding hair and providing
Wow.
for people.
I love
Um,
that.
and that's kind of how I learned my way around natural hair eventually when I became natural. So yeah, quick
Great.
fun.
Okay, so today's live is going to be all about protective styles, our tips and our favorites, and just talking all things protective styles. So first, how long have you been natural?
So I've been natural since 2005. Um, so about this year will be 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Years, yes, very long.
So tell us about your journey, like how you became being natural.
So, I was in college when I finally kind of woke up to oh, maybe I should try wearing my natural hair. And it was because I always kind of had long hair as a child. And then I noticed as I got older, high school and early college years, my hair didn't seem like it was growing anymore.
Mm.
And I was down in Miami and it was just so humid all the time. And I would straighten my hair every day, wrap my go outside, and 10 seconds later, it would be poofy again. And I was like, what is the point of me doing this? I'm burning hair every day. It's drying out. It's not growing, or didn't seem to be growing. What I didn't know was that I wasn't retaining any length. But, it was just what's the purpose of this? And there are so many people down in Miami. The culture there is very different. It's like a whole nother world of Florida when you go down there.
Oh.
And there's everybody's from the islands, and a lot of people rock their natural hair. And actually, two of my best friends cut off their hair in high school, and I thought they were crazy. And I was like, what's up with that? But then I realized so many people embrace their natural hair, and I was like, well, maybe this is something I can try. And so I did a bunch of research before. I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut all my hair off. I did a bunch of research. I read a lot. There wasn't YouTube like it is now. There wasn't, Instagram. So I really did have to go on vlogs, naturalbeauty.com. I'm trying to remember. There was something called Photokey. It's an online photo album that you could share with people, and people shared their journeys that way. And that's how I learned the steps to start taking care of my hair and become, or return natural. So.
Yeah. Oh wow, yeah, I definitely can relate to that because I used to get relaxers a lot to straighten my hair, and so then it was reaching a point where my hair was just not growing anymore. It was just like at like a stat. Like I would get protective styles, like I'd get braids a whole lot, and then every time I take them out, my hair was like the same length, like right here, the same length every single time. So since we're in quarantine, I was just like, you know what? Just go natural. Like just make the decision to transition.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
started positioning around like last year, April, May-ish, around that area, when I decided to go natural.
Awesome, awesome. And I noticed a lot of people did definitely jump on that when quarantine happened. Everything
Yeah.
got down because it was like, okay, we can't go anywhere to get our hair done.
Yeah.
Now you're forced to face yourself and learn how to take care of your own hair. And we should all be able to, at some point or another, have the ability to manage your hair, even if it's the smallest thing. At least
Yeah.
make sure it's washed and moisturized every week or every 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
That's the bare minimum that we can do. If we can't style it, we can't braid, you can't cornrow, and you can't do fancy things, at least be able to do the bare minimum of maintenance with your hair.
Yeah, because your hair needs a whole lot of attention.
Yes.
So how long have you been a natural hair influencer or content creator?
So I started my channel back in 2009.
Oh, wow.
And it's been up there for a long time. I haven't always been 100% dedicated to it. And I think I took a break around 2011 or so, somewhere around there. And I just kind of like, I was a mom. And so, I had work, and my full-time job was just extremely stressful. And I didn't feel like doing anything else when I got home except just relaxing.
Yeah.
And so I took like a 7-year break.
Oh, dang.
And I started back 2018. Was it 2019? I get mixed up because of last year. We just lost COVID.
Yeah, I feel like it.
2019? I think I started. No, yeah, it was 2018. 2018, I started over. I didn't start over. I actually kept the same channel. Edited a few things, take a few things off.
Like a revamp. I can't hear you right now. It's like really cracky. No, it's like really cracky. Can y'all hear her, or is it just me? I can't. Let me see. Maybe come out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now.
My Bluetooth got cut on. Okay, so trying to remember the last thing I was saying. Hey, Blue JD. I'm sorry, people are saying hi to me in the live.
Yeah.
Shut them back out. So 2018, I decided to jump back into it. Rebrand. Natural Beginnings was the brand I always used when I was, styling hair, braiding, natural hair care, whatever you want to call it. That's the name that I continue to use there. And I really did it because I had some clients that were like, oh, you have this knowledge about hair, you should start a channel. And I was like, okay, let me see. And at first I started with a blog. So I also have a written blog that isn't kept up as consistently, but there's a lot of information on there. And that kind of helped me transition to, okay, well, what do I have to talk about if I'm going to talk about things? And some of the things that I shared in my written blog, I also share on my channel. And I also try to share here on Instagram as well. Instagram is like really where it's popping these days. So that's where I get, most of my followers. And that's where I put a lot more content at. I try to maintain a good balance between both, though.
Yeah, I see. So what is your favorite protective style?
Honestly,
what's your favorite and your go-to protective style?
I think my go-to and my favorite might be the same thing, but a go-to first because it could vary. So if I need to protective style, I don't need to do anything fancy for the camera and I'm just around the house and I need something really quick, I will do 2 flat twists in a quick minute. Part and 2 flat twists on each side of my head, and I can leave it like that for the entire week. Maybe refresh it here or there. Like I always say, you could protective style, but your hair, your scalp really still needs attention. Because if you don't have a healthy scalp, you cannot grow healthy hair.
Yeah.
Well, I always try to remember, I take a little spray bottle with some oil, spritz my scalp, and I'm good to go. Every other day, I try to keep up with that. But 2 flat twists, and I'm good to go. I don't have to, and it can actually look presentable. You can dress
Yeah,
it
it
up
does. I love those.
with a little pomade, and so it's not a bad, quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess go to if I'm really trying to like lock my hair away for a couple of weeks, I'll do some simple braids. I really love like the jumbo braids. Knotless braids are back. I used to do
I
knotless
want to try
braids.
those. I've never had knotless braids before.
Yeah, I used to do knotless braids like 10 years ago, and everybody's like doing knotless braids now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this has always been a style.
Yeah, but now
But
it's back and now back again.
everything circles back around too.
Literally, it always does.
And so I think like maybe 2 weeks ago, I took them out, but that's what I had in my hair a couple of weeks ago when I went on my quick trip back to Florida. I had jumbo knotless braids in. I maybe did like 16 braids. It was super quick, especially when I have a lot of running around to do. I have 4 kids, so it's like a lot.
Yeah.
So it was really convenient. It was quick, and it was cute. So braids probably are my favorite protective style, if I had to say.
Mine definitely. I feel my go-to definitely is clearly box braids. Like I just love box braids. But I do want to branch out because I'm always getting box braids. Like I get it out and then I always get box braids. I want to feel like twist, butterfly locks too, like that side as well. How do you care for your hair, like in your scalp, when you get protective styles?
So when I have something in like braids, which is very low maintenance, there's still a lot of, like I said before, things you want to be mindful about your scalp.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things is dryness. And if you have product on there, because a lot of times, like nowadays, everybody wants that sleek look. So you've got gel on your scalp or on your strand at the base of your scalp, and that can kind of get a little itchy, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'd say having a good oil blend that has like either a mint or like a rosemary in it, one of those type of oils, and castor oil is really good.
Yeah.
But you don't put oil only on your scalp because that will lead to buildup. And it can cause you to have even more of a reaction. So that's why I like to mix my oils with water, or I'll put it in a spray bottle with water and spritz it on.
Yeah.
And that way you're not caking up oil on top of all the other product that you have on your scalp. 'Cause you can't get off unless you take your hair out. So you kind of want to save your style. And a smart way or quick or easy way to do that is just to just spray it down a little bit. Rub it at night. Don't scratch.
Yeah.
Beat yourself in the head. Try not to do all of that, but
Yeah, really.
those areas where you feeling the most, discomfort. And another thing that some people like to skip out on is washing your hair. Now that becomes a little bit tricky when you have things like yes. And so there's some ways around that. I actually did wash my hair when I had my knotless braids in. It wasn't terrible because there weren't that many braids. There were like 16 braids. And so the worst part of that is like waiting for it to dry and just making sure you got all the soap out of everywhere. But you can use things called dry shampoo. And there is also if I can remember the name, I think it's by ORS. They have a shampoo that you can use. I think it's alcohol free, but you could just put it on your hair. It comes in a little nozzle and it's a purple solution, but that's what I always recommended to my clients who had locks, because in the first few weeks when you have locks, you can't really wash your hair or it will take the locks down. And so I always recommended to them this dry shampoo, even though it's not dry per se, it's a liquid, but you can put it on, you can get some relief. I believe it has like tea tree in it. If you can't find anything like that, I would recommend maybe making a solution with water, leave-in conditioner, something like tea tree oil, because tea tree oil can fight bacteria. And so that's another concern that you have when you kind of leave your hair alone for, several weeks at a time. So a solution with maybe water, leave-in, and something like tea tree oil that you put on your scalp can help you. But you can also wash your hair. You can get in the shower, rinse your hair. There are some water to foam shampoos I didn't want to get on here and drop company names, but there's one name.
You feel
Girl.
free. Drop them.
Okay. Girl in Hair has an awesome collection that's meant not solely for protective styling, but to um help with maintaining your hair while you have a protective style in. And so it's I think their tagline is like under hair care, and they have a shampoo that's a water to foam shampoo. I believe it has apple cider vinegar in it, and that's another um element that you can use in your hair to kind of clarify your scalp. Apple cider vinegar is great for that, but always dilute it with water. You want to use like 1 part apple cider vinegar to like 3 parts water, and that will help cleanse your scalp. So even if you just kind of run that solution over your scalp, you don't want to drench your hair, that will help.
Oh.
And also, once you do that, if you do wash your hair, you definitely want to make sure you go back in with your leave-in, even if it's a spray leave-in. Spray your hair with that and make sure you're putting some moisture back in. And you can put your oil if you like to use oils. I know people are weird about oils nowadays, but
literally,
your hair, your scalp creates its own oil. But the longer your hair gets, the oil cannot reach all parts of your strands. And so sometimes we need to help it out a little bit. So
thank you. Because I used to what I do is just like oil up my scalp, or sometimes I put mousse on it. But I did not I skip wash days because I don't want to like mess up the
you don't want to get it frizzy and so there's some little tricks that you can work around that, but you definitely have to remember taking care of your scalp. Otherwise, what's the point of the protective style? If you don't like take care of your scalp and you cause damage, then you spend all that time locking away your hair, and the growth that you might be expecting or the condition of your hair might be worse instead of, being better after you took your style down. So.
And do you do your protective styles by yourself, or do you go to get them done?
Sometimes I debate with myself, like maybe I can, find somebody to do my hair, but I have a hard time trusting I've had my own little, horror stories of getting my hair done. So when I became a stylist, I was like determined to I'm going to figure out how to do everything for myself. So I'm not put in the position to where I have to depend on somebody else to do my hair. But I do say, if you're going to look, a lot of people like to shop on IG now for stylists. Like, that's the thing now. You see videos like, I go on Instagram, what everybody does on a stylist. And I'm like, wait, what? Instagram? But Instagram is awesome if you are, hustling and trying to put your business out there. So it works. Instagram works. However, if you find a stylist on Instagram, just fact check, look for reviews. If you see somebody on there, they tag the person, maybe DM them really quick and say, hey, how was your experience with so-and-so? Sometimes there are instances where people make fake pages and it's not even your work on the page. So you just be wise. When you find a stylist that you think you want to try, see what their reviews are. Most of the time, they will have some kind of website or somewhere where they will you will book with them and they will have reviews. So you should be able to, find out how they operate. And, if you get a good, go with your instincts and just look for reviews at first. Another thing is that, and I know you just asked me about who does my hair, but this brought a couple of other things to mind. You want to do protective styles with people who care for your hair, like the state of your hair, not just people who are just trying to get the style and make it look good. Like, you don't backing out your edges, and then, you got this protective style, and then you take it out and you don't have any edges anymore. Like, that's defeats the purpose of what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
So I definitely say, if you could do the style yourself, that's even better. But if you don't have the technical skills like that, getting someone help is always the next best thing, or finding a professional that you trust.
Yeah. My sister does my hair, and I used to go to somebody, but it would be so tight, like extremely tight. But now my sister, she learned how to do those little nestles. Now she got into doing my hair.
Oh, good. That's good. Yeah. Sometimes I cringe at how, like, I've seen protective styles completed, and then you can see like the red, you know, patches in their scalp.
Literally,
And
one time I got braids in, and she did the rubber band style. So like she'd rubber band it first and then add the braid onto it. And so her hand was already really tight. And so
oh
then
my
she put the
god,
rubber band on top. Like after when I got home, I was just crying because it was just
oh
so
my
tight.
god,
I already just spent so much money to get them done. So like, I don't want to just like take them out, but it was just so excruciatingly pain, like so
yeah.
tight.
See, those are horror stories that I hear about, and I'm like, no, there's no reason for it. It doesn't have to be like that. I remember I had a client. This is coming from a stylist perspective. I had a client who got mad that I didn't braid her edges like into her braids, and I was like, well, I don't braid edges like
Yeah,
need to be braided. If you want to, slick them back or swoop them, that's what it is. But this is they got so used to stylists who, snatch up all the hair and they want to look snatched, and it's it's
it really breaks your edges at the end of it.
yes, and it's like a weird mentality that we have now. Like everything has to be like sleek and slick and like glued to your scalp, or it's not
Exactly.
doesn't look good. But it's really what you feel comfortable with and what you can walk away feeling like, okay, I got protective style and my hair is still going to be healthy afterwards and look good. So many things to consider.
Yeah. And everybody, make sure that when you're going to sleep, you protect your hair with the satin bonnet. So if you are interested in a satin bonnet, make sure you go to the link in my bio and get you a KK bonnet to protect all protective styles when you're sleeping, because you still need to protect them because they can prevent frizz.
Absolutely. I definitely make sure I either have on a bonnet, satin bonnet, or if it's too hot, I have a pillowcase
Yeah.
that has that satin based, and I don't go to sleep just willy nilly, even though I have braids in my hair. Like you still have to
Exactly.
protect hair is exposed in some areas.
Mm-hmm. She said, makes me cringe to think about all the pain experienced for just my regular schmegler hairdresser visits. All the
Wow.
pulling and pain to detangle my hair with no product.
I'm sure.
Exactly.
But
And
they should
for
be
somebody like me who's really, really tender-headed, it was
right.
the worst. Like I love protective styles. Like I love the outcome, but I dread going there because I'm so tender-headed. And then they'd be like pulling it and like combing it like dry, like just straight up dry. And it was just...
No, see, I will get up out of the chair and snatch the comb from you. Like, hold on.
Like it was so bad.
And that's another thing. Preparation before you get your protective style is also key. If you're going to someone who's not a licensed cosmetologist, say they're just a braider, and I was just a braider, but I also studied a lot because I was, at one point I was thinking about becoming a cosmetologist until I saw that they didn't cater to the natural hair community. But anyway, if you're going to someone who's just a braider, you need to prep your hair as much as you can yourself. Some of them have rules where they're like, oh, you need to flatten your hair or blow it out before. If they tell you that, I would doubt some of their skills in being able to braid your hair properly. Unless they're just trying to, make your style as quick as possible. But you can braid your hair in its natural state. It doesn't have to be blown out. It does not have to be straightened for you to get your hair braided and it to look neat.
Yeah.
If they tuck the hair, like that shouldn't be an issue. Now, if they're wanting it to be an easier process, maybe they can request that your hair is fully detangled. That's something else, but that does not require you to blow out your hair. It does not require you to flatten iron your hair. But I would go through the process of having a wash day the day before, if you can. Wash your hair, deep condition your hair with steam. As you're leaving and your hair, oils you're going to use, because who knows what products they plan on using in your hair. Maybe that's something you want to talk to them about before you make your appointment.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't rely on them to add anything to your hair that's going to help take care of it. I would do that on myself if you're going to someone who just solely braids. And make sure your hair is detangled.
For sure. That's the biggest thing that I got to make sure. Like, my hair is fully detangled.
Yeah. If they're telling you, I think there was a really crazy video that went viral a couple of years ago, and the young lady was saying that you have to come with your hair flat ironed out before you do braids. run. Nobody
Literally,
that.
I understand having to get it blown out because, like, I know blowing out can help it be like an easier process, but
Right.
flat ironing it is like so. Having someone have put so much heat on their hair is like not
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. And she was flat ironing the girl's hair like right there on camera, and it was like 15 passes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this girl's hair is gonna be so broken by the time she takes her braids out. Like that.
Exactly. Then, like, what's the point of the protective style at the end of it?
Exactly. Yep.
How
So.
often?
Yeah.
How often do you get protective styles?
Um, when like, what do you mean, like box braids and things like that?
Yeah,
I'm
like
do twice a year. I'm planning to do another protective style later this year, just for the summer because it makes it easier because we travel more as a family and everything.
yeah.
Honestly, maybe twice a year. Other than that, I'll do my protective styling with my own natural hair. And that's something else. You don't have to add in a weave. You don't have to wear a wig for your style to be a protective style.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it full of twists. You can do loose twists. You can do
Cornrow it.
cornrows, 3-strand twists. You can do braids, and your hair can be in a decent looking protective style. Now, if you want to add a little length or something like that, I can see the want for extensions. But honestly, you could protective style your hair with your own hair. So that's also another option.
How long do you, if you get like, let's say you get like some box braids or just a protective style, how long do you usually keep those in?
So I am like really like, I love when I get them done, but then like after 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, I miss my hair. I actually think I went a month this time, and usually that's like the limit for me. What I would recommend, like as a stylist, no more than 3 months. Like
Yeah.
if you get your hair done, no more than 3 months. Take them out. Later, we should not be looking at your hair. I know sometimes people will like get the edges redone and things like that. That's cool, but no more than 3 months because you run the risk, especially if you're not taking care of your hair while it's in. If you're not washing it or cleansing your scalp, you want to get those out of there, no, I would say 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And I know that there are some people who use wigs as protective styling. You should be able to every 2 weeks go in and wash your hair, maybe get it rebraided, and then you could throw your wig back on. But not, I don't know if I've ever seen the purpose of like gluing on a wig to your hair or sewing on a wig to your hair because you can't access your hair and your scalp. And I see that as very problematic. No, shade to people who do that, but I think it's very problematic because I don't know what's going on.
Like a lace front.
Like what is going on underneath on your scalp? That works for me. When I hear people tell stories about how their client came back to them 6 months later to get their weave taken out that he got in 6 months before, like you're gonna lose a ton of hair and you're gonna be feeling really, really crazy.
Yeah.
And then if like hopefully at least one time or so you washed or did something with your scalp because that's a little bit risky if you did.
Yeah. What or who introduced you into protective styling? Because I know I've been getting protective styles like from ever since I could remember, like since I was very young. Like I want to say like around 8, maybe even younger. I started getting protective styles. What introduced you into protective styling?
I think probably my mom would have been the first person to introduce me to them because when I was young, I used to love to get the braids, the single plaits with the beads on them.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Every week, and I thought it was like Stevie Wonder with my beads.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably my first real experience with protective styling. Also, though, one of my best friends from high school, she introduced me to like actually doing the box braids. So she kind of helped me learn how to do that when I think I was around 14 when I finally like started to learn to actually braid and cornrow and things like that. And so when she introduced me to that, I think I did my own set of box braids on myself like shortly after. So that's when I really started doing like, the protective styles with extensions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any product recommendations that you like to throw in there?
Sure. So as you guys know, I represent a couple of brands here that do have amazing products, not just because I use them and, I show them to you on here, but like they actually do work very well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely have to say Shea USA has some awesome all natural products
I see that.
and are made with ingredients that you would find back in the homeland, back in Africa, where our people originate from.
Love
And
that.
if they've been using it for years and years and years, you may want to check it out because that would probably be the same things that will work on our hair.
Yeah.
Have a solution called AMBUNU that they base like one of their collections in, and it's all natural cleanser. This would also be something really awesome to use when you are trying to cleanse your hair while your protective style is in because it doesn't soap up.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of slimy. It's a little weird looking, but when you use it, it doesn't leave like a residue in your hair, and it
I like that.
go over it with like water afterwards, and still have like a neat looking protective style. So Mbunu leaves is something I would recommend. They also have awesome deep conditioners to like fortify your hair before you put your protective style in and after when you take it out. When I took my protective style out, I picked up my Shea USA and Mbunu deep conditioner and got that soft, strong feeling. I think it's uh the deep conditioner is a balance of protein and moisture, so it can definitely help like restore your hair if it's feeling kind of dry and crunchy after you take your hair protective style out.
Oh, okay.
So definitely check out Shea USA. And I do have a code, and I'll try to drop that in the chat. But if you want to save 15% off, put code Napptural in when you go visit them. And what else? I definitely would recommend also to check out Girl in Hair. I'm not a representative for them or anything, but they do have amazing products for when you protective style your hair. Their water to foam shampoo and their cloud deep conditioner, like it looks like this fluffy like cloud, like it. I love the texture of the deep conditioner and it tingles your scalp. It's awesome. So if you need something that's going to give you that refreshing and it's going to give you relief to your scalp while you have your braids in or after you take them out, they have the products that you want to try. Girl plus hair.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Of
And thank you,
course.
everybody, for joining. Thank you, Natural Beginnings, for coming on live with me.
Thank
Had
you
an
for having
amazing
me.
live. Make sure y'all go check out all the products that you said and go get you a cake of Bonnets to protect your hair. Love you all and stay tuned for episode 10.